Live from WTVO 17 and your home team, Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
An Illinois teenager faces charges connected to violence in Kenosha. He's accused of killing people during protests against Jacob Blake's shooting.
Record-setting prices. More houses are selling in the Stateline and for more money than ever. The area people are looking at.
And a woman honored as a teacher 6 years ago gets another surprise. It's for her education work outside a classroom.
Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Eric Wilson. An Illinois teenager is accused of opening fire during a third night of protests in Kenosha.
2 people are dead and a third is in the hospital. What we're about to show you may be disturbing. Police say the person in the center of your screen is 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse from Antioch. In this video during the protests following the death of Jacob Blake, you see the person holding a gun turn around and start walking. A witness says he couldn't believe what he saw in his front lawn.
So I woke up and looked out my window and I seen a man with an automatic weapon walking slowly right down the road here. And someone from behind him either appeared to push him, knock him down, or hit him with something. He rolled on the ground and he came up with his automatic weapon and shot the guy right in the head.
Rittenhouse is charged as an adult and is waiting extradition back to Wisconsin. Demonstrators have been filling the streets this week demanding justice for Blake. The 29-year-old was shot in the back by police Sunday night. State, local, and federal officials are all looking into that shooting.
People brace for the worst as Hurricane Laura grows in the Gulf of Mexico. The Category 4 storm is expected to make landfall overnight and could go up to a Cat 5. 1.5 million people across Louisiana and Texas are under some type of evacuation order. Texas's governor warns this storm is categorized as unsurvivable and could continue inland up to 30 miles. Coming up tonight, a Stillman Valley graduate who now lives in Louisiana shares her story how she and her family are preparing for Hurricane Laura's arrival. Home sales across the nation are booming. Mortgage rates hit record lows.
The Stateline is no exception. Dylan Srocky spoke with local realtors to learn what's behind the buying frenzy. As he found out, deals are good enough to draw those who've moved out of their hometown back after decades away.
Realtors say the housing market here in the Stateline has improved drastically over the last several years. Rather than looking to move out of the area, people are now looking to move in.
If you look back at the lows in the region, 2012, 13, 14, realtors couldn't price the homes low enough. Now it's the reverse. They can't seem to price them high enough. There's just enormous demand out there from buyers.
Connor Brown from the Rockford area Realtors says homes in Winnebago, Boone, and Ogle counties sold at record-setting prices in July.
Certainly over the past decade, particularly during the Great Recession, we saw a number of people move out of the region looking for other economic opportunity. I think, we've kind of righted that ship.
Boone County specifically was a desired location for home buyers last month. 90 homes were sold in July, up from 57 at the same time 1 year ago. Boone County realtor Michelle Huber thinks lower taxes, newer homes, and School District 100 is drawing in buyers.
I joked at one point that it felt like every person I'd ever spoken to about real estate was calling me in the last 2 months, and it was kind of the case. I had investors, I had first-time buyers, I had people downsizing, I had people moving out of state, multi-units, everything you can think of has been moving right now.
Mark Strandquist recently bought a house in Rockford. He was born and raised in the Forest City, but moved away in 1987. He says he came back because he thinks Rockford has a lot to offer while being more affordable than most big cities.
From where we live, within 10 minutes, I can get to about anything I need. There's, 2 major hospitals, plenty of clinics, plenty of restaurants, plenty of shopping, groceries, you name it.
Brown says he expects the market to stay strong as mortgage rates remain low during the COVID-19 pandemic. Reporting for your home team, I'm Dylan Srocky.
Multiple agencies across the Stateline worked together to carry out a massive drug bust. Police executed 6 separate search warrants at residences across Rockford, including 2 vehicles. They reportedly found over 180 pounds of marijuana, 2 guns, other various drugs, and over $90,000 in cash. 30-year-old Aaron Lind and 40-year-old Jose Banks were arrested. Both are charged with possession with intent to deliver. Lind also faces weapons charges. Police say the investigation is ongoing and more charges could be filed. An early morning crash takes the life of an 18-year-old woman. The accident happened at the intersection of Central and Riverside around 3:30 this morning. You can see significant damage left behind. One car came to rest on the curb, the other in a front yard. The other driver was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. The 18-year-old hasn't been identified. Police say the cause of the crash is still under investigation.
The Centers for Disease Control updates its guidelines on COVID testing. The agency no longer recommends testing for most people without symptoms. That includes those who have been in close contact with someone known to have the virus. The CDC changed the recommendations on its website yesterday, but did not give a reason for the change. However, head of the Winnebago County Health Department, Dr. Sandra Martell, disagrees with that guidance. She says everyone should continue to get tested, especially with kids going back to school. Dr. Martell warns the community can't let its guard down. Today begins the updated mask rule set by Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker. Customers in restaurants and bars will not only have to wear masks while they're entering or leaving, but also while they interact with staff. That means while you're placing an order, receiving food or drinks, or picking up an order, your mask has to be on. The new measure is meant to keep restaurant and bar workers safe.
Schools in the state line prepare to handle COVID cases that may come up.
This includes immediately letting staff and families know. Michelle Rave explains how that will work.
Several private schools across the state line are making sure both students and staff stay safe this fall. Along with following CDC guidelines, schools like Cathedral Baptist School have to immediately notify the Winnebago Health Department if a faculty member or a student tests positive for COVID-19. From there, the health department steps in to guide them through what steps to take.
If a student is tested positive for COVID-19, we would quarantine that specific classroom for 2 days, just so we can make sure that we clean everything everything possible, that we get like deep clean, and students have opportunity to kind of go home and make sure that they're not showing symptoms, that they haven't been affected.
Coming up at 6, we'll hear from other state line schools about how they would handle a potential COVID case as kids head back to school. In Rockford, for your home team, I'm Michelle Rave.
A Golden Apple teacher is honored for her work as a principal. Erin Sahlberg was named the 2020 Peary Family Outstanding Principal by the Golden Apple Foundation. She's in charge at the Nashhold Early Childhood Center. Teachers, staff, and family were on hand to celebrate with Sahlberg this morning. Sahlberg says the recognition proves her work to empower students and families is paying off.
This achievement affirms that what we're doing with our families and our community is so important, and we'll just keep pushing and keep building those relationships so that they keep wanting to come to school and they keep wanting to be involved in their child's education.
Prior to becoming a principal, Sahlberg taught first grade in the Rockton district for almost a decade, where she was awarded a Golden Apple. Preparations are underway for another night of speeches at the Republican National Convention.
Vice President Mike Pence will formally accept his nomination from Fort McHenry in Baltimore, Maryland. Our Washington correspondent Jesse Tenor has more on what we can expect tonight. Eyewitness News is your local election headquarters.
Tonight, we explore together America.
From the land of opportunity to America, land of heroes. Night 3 of the Republican National Convention promises a patriotic theme.
I'm going to go watch my brother give one heck of an acceptance speech on Wednesday night.
Congressman Greg Pence's younger brother, Vice President Mike Pence, will formally accept his renomination as President Trump's running mate tonight. The vice president is using Baltimore's historic Fort McHenry, the birthplace of the Star-Spangled Banner, as his backdrop. This is the latest convention speech to raise concern here in Washington about blurring the lines between official duties and campaign activity. A law called the Hatch Act outlaws campaign activity by federal employees at work. Democrats have vowed to investigate at least one possible Hatch Act violation from this week by Secretary of State Mike Pompeo.
These people are so unethical.
Tonight's speakers also include Second Lady Karen Pence, who will focus on the military community, and White House counselor Kellyanne Conway, whose speech will be one of her last duties before she leaves the administration.
What's on the ballot is results and promises. both cases, President Trump has delivered.
Republican Congressman Fred Keller is one of a small number of lawmakers who will attend the virtual convention in person. He plans to be on the White House lawn tomorrow night for the president's acceptance speech.
God bless you all. Thank you.
In Washington, I'm Jesse Tenor.
Now, your first warned weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Candice King.
A little bit more haze out there for us this evening. A live look with our Mercell Skytrack camera now out over downtown Rockford. We've had plenty of sunshine, and it's been a warm one today as our temperatures have made it back into the upper 80s and low 90s. We'll continue with that dry and mostly clear sky here as we go through the night tonight. Still some haze out there this evening from the smoke from the wildfires out to the west, and we've got a couple of clouds building up, but no rain expected from that cloud cover for tonight. Just going to be another warm and somewhat muggy overnight. Temperature right now, 93 degrees is what our weather watcher Bob here in Rockford is checking in with a dew point number of 65, 92 in Rockford, 88 in Belvedere, 87 in Rochelle, 90 in Dixon, and 88 degrees right now in Freeport. The heat index, again, over parts of northwest Illinois, back into the upper 90s, close to 100 degrees. Our dew point temperatures are down just a little bit, so it prevents us from getting up much above that 100-degree mark, but still rather hot out there. Officially, we made it to 93 degrees, so that record high for today of 97, which was set back in 1953, that record still holds. As we hang on to a partly cloudy sky during the overnight, we will see some sunshine as we go through the day tomorrow. Cold front, though, coming closer to central and southern Illinois might provide us with an isolated thunderstorm during the afternoon tomorrow. I think a better chance for any storms during the day going to be up across and along that front in central and southern Wisconsin. What we might have to watch as we go into Thursday night and then early into Friday, as that front moves a little bit further to the south, it could allow a few of those thunderstorms to work in and cross over the border just before sunrise tomorrow. Kind of all depends on how this storm complex, which Futurecast really is showing fizzling out, develops Thursday night into very early Friday morning up across the high plains. So depending on whether or not that really strengthens will determine if we see those thunderstorms carry over into Friday morning. It will be another warm and muggy day on Friday. Cold front will then come through Friday afternoon and Friday evening, and that is going to be our best chance for some thunderstorms, some of which could be on the strong and severe side. So let's look at that risk for tomorrow. Slight risk for stronger thunderstorms, mostly here across Wisconsin, far northern Illinois, and if we were to see any thunderstorms, again, a greater chance of that would be late Thursday into early Friday. I think a better chance for thunderstorms with all modes of severe weather. Wind, hail primarily a threat, but with increasing wind shear, can't completely rule out an isolated tornado as that slight risk does shift a little bit further to the south into Friday evening. Let's go down to the south where Hurricane Laura, really well-defined eye wall. You can just see that here on satellite radar, continues to move near the Louisiana-Texas coastline. This now a Category 4 hurricane with maximum sustained winds of 145 miles per hour, moving to the northwest at about 15 miles per hour. It will make landfall late tonight, very early tomorrow as a major hurricane. That moisture gets pulled northward and will help provide a few of those showers as we go towards Friday. So 71 degrees for us tonight, back into the 90s tomorrow. You might notice the humidity going up just a little bit tomorrow afternoon. Upper 80s on Friday, lower 80s, even some upper 70s for the weekend. A little more rainfall though, guys, next week.
Now, the Napleton Sports Desk with Sports Director Scott Leber.
The threat of NBA teams boycotting games over the shooting of Jacob Blake in Kenosha is no longer a threat. It is real. This afternoon, the Milwaukee Bucks were supposed to play Game 5 of their playoff series against the Orlando Magic, but the Bucks never left their locker room. They decided to boycott the game only minutes before it was supposed to tip off. The Magic had been out on the court warming up. They then left the court, leaving an empty arena. Since then, the Rockets and Thunder have also decided to boycott their game, and so have the Lakers and Trailblazers. More boycotts could be coming. Players from the Toronto Raptors and the Boston Celtics are supposed to meet tonight to discuss whether or not to boycott their game scheduled for tomorrow. And the Brewers have followed the Bucks lead. They're boycotting their game tonight at Miller Park against the Reds. The buzz over Lucas Giolito's no-hitter last night has not died down. That was the 19th no-hitter in White Sox history, and the first one against a National League team. He threw it against the Pirates. The White Sox 19 no-hitters ranked second all-time in Major League Baseball behind the Dodgers, They've thrown 23 of them. This afternoon, the Sox were back on the field against the Pirates, and this time it was their bats that dominated. Second inning, Danny Mendick hits it on the nose. Gregory Polanco goes after it. It hits off his glove and then drops into the bullpen for a 2-run homer. In the fourth inning, Edwin Encarnacion launches one. That was a solo shot, and it gave the Sox a 5-0 lead. Fifth inning, it's Eloy's turn. Jimenez connects for a 3-run bomb. It's his 10th of the season. Jose Abreu also went deep, and the White Sox beat the Pirates 10-3. The Cubs will play again in Detroit this evening at 6:10. John Lester, who's been shaky his last couple of outings, will start that game.